So, Simon, just like at Murrayfield, it wasn't to be for England. No, in all seriousness, they fought hard in the test, but India had enough to secure a 5-wicket win. England now 3-1 down, as you heard in commentary there, despite winning the first test and having opportunities to win the other three. So where are they? Where are they now? Obviously, not where they want to be. Legendary England cricketer turned commentator David Lloyd is with us. David, what's your take? Is this roughly how you thought this would pan out, or did you expect England to be in a much more strong and powerful position?
No, it's about right, I would think. That India are a fabulous team in these conditions. I've watched the Stokes interview and he said, we've given it everything. We've given it everything we could with this group against India. Well, that bottom line is that they weren't good enough. India have played better in these conditions. They've got wonderful bowlers. England have got rookie spin bowlers. But I watched the young players. India's young players, I think, have been fabulous.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of it all, I think India were made to sweat a bit, David, but they came through it. Was it always going to be just a bridge too far? Was it going to be too much of a task for England? Or did you at the outset think they can win this series out here? I wouldn't be surprised if they win it. Did you really feel that?
No, I thought that India would win the series,
Right.
because of the conditions and England's selection with young cricketers. I think that's a worthy thing to do. But India are desperately difficult to win over there. What lost England this test match, and they were in it for quite some time, was a disastrous day three, an absolute disaster on day three in their second innings and bundled out. What did India have that England didn't have? They had a left arm wrist spinner, you'd have, and that was the massive difference. England left young Ahmed out, they left him out. And so he's the wrist spinner for England, and we didn't have that to combat the wrist spinner of India.
David, it's quite incredible when you look at India now. They have a 12-year unbeaten home record. 12 years, David. I mean, yeah. Could anyone have ever envisaged that?
Well, I strip it back and you just have a look. What have they got? They've got a fantastic T20 competition, the IPL, which is obviously producing young cricketers. You get the best players are not playing. Virat Kohli out of the team for the whole series, but young players come in and do the job. The opener Jayaswal is absolutely a gun player in the IPL. He's just a kid. He's come from from the slums really to seek his fortune in cricket, and he's done just that. And so they're doing a lot of things right. For England, they've picked some good young players. I like that. And to mix it in with the established players that they've got. But when you analyse it and look, they've got big hundreds. They've got double hundreds. England, along the way, have got the odd 100 and some pretty 50s and 60s. You've got to convert.
Wow, that's the difference, Martin, isn't it? As David says, India will get players who can hit 100, maybe a couple of hundreds. England might have a player in there who can hit a century.
Yeah, that's probably true. David, just as a matter of interest, Pope came up with the big innings then, and then poor scores after that. There is that sort of part of the scene.
Well, it is. It was a wonderful 196 earlier in the series, and then he bags a pair. And it's one of them things in the changing rooms. I did it often. I got 4 pairs. And your nickname from then on in the dressing room is Baggy. He's bagged a pair. And so he didn't exist in this game. He was out first ball in the second innings, and that's your number 3. You want your number 3 to be rock solid and to lay a foundation for the team. And so England, I like the interview. I go back to that interview. We've given it everything, said Ben Stokes. And at the end of the day, you're losing 3-1.
What would Jeff Boycott have thought of the Joe Root's dismissal in the third Test match?
Well, not dismissal, but I'm quite friendly with Jeffrey, and we speak from time to time. And odd times when he rings up, you've got to hold the telephone out here as to what he's thinking about how the play is going. But it's modern day play. And I don't have a problem with it, to be honest. For this England squad to go to India, I don't think they'd have got anywhere at all if they'd have just tried to occupy the crease. They've tried to be aggressive. I'm not going to mention the B word, because McCullum himself can't stand it. He's the boss, he's the coach. And there's this B word that's thrown at the team. He doesn't like it at all. He wants them to play aggressive cricket. Well, they've done that, and once or twice they've got a bit reckless, so they'll have to learn from that.
Yeah.
Go on, Martin. Go on.
What it's done with, if weather permitting, it's done away with the 5th day of test matches anyway. Let me put it this way.
Very, very shrewd, Martin. And that is something that's gathering momentum. That do you need 5 days?
Yeah.
Because there are so many matches that are finishing in 4 days. I'll throw this out there. I'm okay with 4-day test matches, but they've got to bowl 100 overs per day. As it is now, they're bowling about 83, 84. The players slow the game down. Your football guys, the players slow the game down. I watch non-league football. The ball's out of play more than it's in play. And the cricket is exactly the same. They will do everything to slow the game down. If you administer the laws of the game, that would take care of it.
So David, I mean, we often say it's all about pride now for England, but is it? It's all about pride. I mean, it's a dead rubber. 7th of March, the 5th and final test. We say it in football, we're saying it in cricket, are we? It's all about pride.
It is, and winning a test match, it's a bit unique. It's cricket in that it's a 5-match series. And if you can come away with 2 matches, you might just think, well, that's okay. We've took 2 off India in India. It would have been much better for England if they're going into this final game 3-2. But I'll say again, they are a fabulous team. They're doing a lot of things right in producing young players.
Okay, David Lloyd, thank you so much. As always, 7th of March for the 5th and final test, and that'll be live on talkSPORT, of course. You can look forward to that. We are coming up to 12 noon.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.